Hi there. I'm using the 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 computer webcam right now because it's super easy. It's not as good quality. It's definitely um, me revealing my laziness at the moment, but I just had some thoughts running through my head. I want to do a quick video, and what I want to talk about is um, why hypnosis can be such a powerful tool for healing. I'm just going to give you the basics on hypnosis. I've done this before. I'm not sure those videos are on this channel. I'm still like going back through old topics. Eventually I'll have this channel where I want it to be. I made probably 500 some videos just answering people's questions, and then I went, offline for quite a while just to do a lot of self-work, and I just decided to start with a clean slate, and I lost a lot of those old viewers, which is fine. A lot of them were negative people, but I just feel like I eventually want to get most of those topics retouched. So hypnosis is a passion of mine because I've had so much success manifesting with it, and that's why I basically became self-taught at, like how this tool, such a powerful mental tool, can be used to fix whatever's bothering you in your body, because your reality is created by your mind. I've talked about this many times, but I compare this reality that we're experiencing to the Matrix just because it's sort of a nice metaphor for people to understand, because most people have seen the Matrix. But also, if you're a Trekkie like me, you might remember in The Next Generation, the holodeck, where you pick the program that you're going to walk into, and then you walk in, and it's very lifelike, but it's not real. And that's basically how I view our reality. Everything that we experience, while we perceive it as being very solid and very real, this term we've just come to accept, it's actually just an illusion. And all we are is these little beings of light bouncing around the universe who have found a focused point of perception in this, what we perceive as biological material. All we have to do is think a thought, we can move this body, and it's a grand illusion, an amazing illusion, but always still an illusion. So your outward reality that you experience is based on the thoughts that are going on in your mind. From the time you're born into this reality up until about the age of 6 to 7, you're really basically just in the alpha brainwave state. So what we're experiencing right now is beta. This is conscious reality. Alpha is the lightest state of what we call hypnosis, and you can slip into it really easily when you're driving in traffic and you just kind of get into the groove. You might sometimes not even remember getting from point A to point B because you were just sort of in this so it's a very lucid state of hypnosis because you're still able to act. A very common state you find yourself in alpha to be programmed is while you're watching TV. And this is why we're always being bombarded with these ideas that we're not good enough because we need the next greatest thing. We need this weight loss pill, or we need this makeup thing or this surgery or countless things, you know. You're projected onto all these food items that you then start to crave. This is because it's just so easy to relax into this lower level state of mental consciousness called the alpha state. You're very easily programmable at the alpha state. Next after alpha is theta, and it's just above sleeping. You're going to be in a very relaxed state where your mind is also programmable, but you may not remember. So it's basically a deeper state of hypnosis. The clients that I work with, whether they go into alpha or theta is just, you know, depending on how suggestible they are or how relaxed they are at the moment. Either one is a very programmable state of consciousness. But in one state you're going to remember and you have full capability, and in the other state you're almost asleep, you're not going to remember what was said to you, but you're still hearing me because I'll say, now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you'll wake up. You'll hear that and you'll come back to the surface. You probably won't have any memory of what I said to you beyond the point of when you drifted off, but you weren't sleeping. In a sleeping state, which is delta, then you're not as conscious to suggestion. So, you know, in a sleeping state, you're definitely suggestible to some degree, because we know this because things happen around us and it somehow ends up in our dream world, but then we wake up and we don't know why that happened, or we realize, oh, I heard the door shut and then that triggered something in my dream, da 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 da. But you know what I'm saying. But it's best to stay in alpha or theta for good reprogramming of the subconscious. So basically, hypnosis is a really simple process. It's basically meditation. It's basically the hypnotherapist leads your mind into a relaxed state, the state at which your mind is open to suggestion. And in this state, you can reprogram what was programmed when you were little. Basically, what I was saying earlier, from the time you're born to the time you're about 6, you are just absorbing information into the subconscious that's literally creating your reality. So if your main dysfunction, if you want to call it that, is not being able to manifest money, you may have been told repeatedly when you were younger that money is hard to get, or money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work really hard for money. These are all things that you were probably told as a child. They're now stored in your subconscious, and you're creating that in your reality. The good news is that you can change the subconscious programming by getting into a state of hypnosis and basically rewriting this subconscious program that was there before you even knew what was happening. Because you come into this world, you're dependent on the people around you, and you're very likely to believe what people tell you without, you know, real thought processing it very thoroughly. Like, you know, I can think about when I was younger and when you first make the connection that a hamburger was once an animal, it kind of freaks you out because you're like, what? The core part of you knows that it's not really good to do that. But you're programmed and told that it's healthy for you because that's what your parents were programmed to believe. That's what their parents were programmed to believe. And it just goes on till it's become widely accepted that we just murder other beings and eat their bodies, which, if you think about it, kind of extreme. I think it's like, it's one of these things that struck me about people saying a vegan diet. You hear this a lot. Oh, I could never do that. It's so extreme. It's not extreme at all. It's the most natural thing. Eating plants that come from the earth in their natural state is what every other, you know, no animal on the planet like prepares bread or, you know, like makes these elaborate meals. They just eat what's in their environment. That's why, you know, I'm going to connect these two things right now just because I didn't intend to do this, but it's an obvious seg here to go into now why eating a raw vegan diet is also a very powerful way to reprogram your health. A lot of people think that it's about what you're eating and that's what makes you healthy. But actually, what I believe the real reason behind why raw vegan eating makes you so healthy is because it's about what you're not eating. It's about what you're removing from the equation. Of course, if any of you follow me on a regular basis, you know I believe that we are meant to live without food. We became addicted to food, and now if we're moving in that direction, we're in the process of releasing that addiction. There are people living on the planet right now that do not eat food or drink fluids. This is truth. Just to interject really quickly, I don't suggest that you are capable of going from one day from eating cheeseburgers to not eating at all and staying alive. But it is a process where you can detoxify your body to the degree that you can bring it back into its natural state. And I believe the natural state for humans is that the body is a self-contained apparatus. Well, why do we have the stomach? Why do we have all these organs and things? How do we know what they do, what they're meant to do? What we know from people who have experienced a transition off of food is that the organs shrink down to a very much smaller size than we're used to experiencing them in the production of processing food. So it leads me to believe that the system inside is a delicate filtration system for toxicity in the environment. It helps you to remove anything from the body that just gets in there and doesn't need to be in there. And, you know, honestly, we don't know why. Maybe we're just like butterflies and we start out as caterpillars that need to eat leaves, and then we get our wings and we don't need to eat leaves anymore. Okay, I'm speculating a lot here. I'm not a breatharian, so I can't speak from experience on what exactly happens to the body, but I've researched a lot of what people who have done it do say, and that leads me back to what I was trying to say about eating a raw vegan diet. Why it helps so much in the healing process is because you lighten the load on your body. For me personally, what I found, I didn't really get into this awakening process of knowing that I was meant to help other people until I was in probably the second year of eating raw vegan. But what happens is you detoxify to such a degree that your mind begins to work better. And then you start to realize you have all these capabilities and these capacities that you haven't been making use of your whole life. Telepathy is very real. I communicate with plants and animals very easily now. The intuition is heightened to such a degree that you see signs and you follow them. Whereas this is another reason I advocate the raw vegan diet for anyone who's trying to become good at manifesting. We talk about The Secret and how you create your reality by what you believe. But it's hard to believe positive things when your mind and body is bogged down with toxicity. And that's what raw veganism does. It moves this toxic mental sludge out of the way. So it increases your intuition. It increases your energy level. It increases your faith, because you start to see things. You start to get into the flow of things and the way that the universe is guiding you. You notice things. So if you're trying to manifest a better life for yourself and the universe wants to guide you in this one direction, but you're too toxic to notice, that's definitely going to impede your process. So just another observation to me on why the raw vegan diet is so valuable. Now, I do go off the diet at times. I get into these whatever situations, or like my most recent one was helping someone I live with to become a vegan from a standard American diet. So I was cooking a lot and tasting things, and pretty soon I'm eating raw vegan. Not eating raw vegan anymore, and I realize always, every time, that I don't feel as good. I don't feel as positive. I don't have as much energy. Symptoms, I call them symptoms. They're things that most people accept as normal, like having smelly odors come out of you, or infections, acne, dandruff, yeast infections, just all kinds of things that we consider very normal, a normal part of being human. They're not. They're caused by eating toxic cooked sludge that your body really can't process. And so over time, your body works so hard to get this, what's basically an invader, out of its system, that it just creates all this mucus, and the toxins can't come out. You get backed up. Many people experience digestive problems, just all sorts of things. But every time I'm reminded, when I go back to the raw vegan diet, the first week is really hard. It's not just a physical detox. If you have been eating really crappy for a long time and you try to do raw vegan, your physical detox can be really intense. You can have powerful headaches, nausea, diarrhea maybe. There's all sorts of negative things, just lack of energy. It's just, but if you view it as a positive part of the process, it's your body moving all of this stuff it can't use and getting it out, and it's uncomfortable for a few days. But then there's another aspect of it. There's an emotional detox. As you lighten up the weight, the physical weight on your digestive system, emotions that were stuffed or stored with the food that you were eating, lots of people, myself included, are very prone to emotional eating. So we don't feel good, we look for something to feel better, we eat something that's not good for us, and those emotions that we're trying to get away from, they don't go anywhere. They just get stored in the tissue. So when those foods come up to be released and you're detoxifying, the emotions are also coming up. It can be a lot of anger or a lot of sorrow. You may not be able to connect it to why. You can't really, you don't need to know why, but allow those emotions to run through you. Experience them. Try to feel them fully. if you need to cry, you should just cry. If you prevent yourself from crying, that's just getting in your own way of the process. So if you need to take a day and just cry, or, like beat pillows, something I used to do when I was younger that helped me was break glass. I would just put glass containers or pieces of glass into something protective, like a few plastic bags or something, so that it wouldn't shatter around, and I would just break it. And that really helped me to release frustration and anger. So there are positive ways of releasing those emotions. Now, these two factors, I believe, putting together the raw vegan diet, which hopefully potentially leads you to awakening into this idea that we don't need food, and you get on that path, which goes from a heavy raw vegan diet to a lighter and lighter raw vegan diet, liquidarianism, and then eventually periods of fasting that help you break the food addiction. For now, let's just focus on lightening up the system, getting the toxins out, and then reprogramming the subconscious mind. These are the essential tools to really recreating your life. And, there's gazillions, I was going to say literally, but figuratively, because I don't think gazillion is a real number. I'm not real sure on that, so I'm just going to let it go for now. There are a lot of free videos that you can find on YouTube of different hypnosis. Find a good voice that relaxes you, and then just look for videos that are working on the topic that you want to work on. I also have a few videos on my website that you can purchase the links to, and I do private sessions and also Skype sessions. So hypnosis can be done from anywhere, or we could do it over the telephone if you like. What I wanted to put out there is that I'm considering doing a healing retreat and combining these aspects of what I feel are the essentials to health and positivity, raising your vibration, and potentially awakening your awareness to the degree that you don't have to leave this earth until you're ready. And you don't have to leave your body to leave the earth. I know I'm stepping out there a little bit out of the bounds of most people's comfortability, but I did write a book about it called Why We Die and How We Can Stop. It's my full faith belief that we do not have to die. As long as there's breath in your body, there's the potential to awaken to Christ consciousness, which a lot of people, I think, are confused about the message of Christ. I personally don't subscribe to any religious interpretation, but what I think is that a Christ mind is any mind that reaches a fully awakened state, remembers the full connection to the entire universe, and then remembers all of its capacities. Manifestation instantly. Whatever you think of, it materializes. I could go on and on and on about my experiences stepping outside of the mental barrier that we have in this reality. I have seen what our potential really is. I've been able to connect in that way. So, without babbling on too much more about my beliefs, at the very minimum, you can have a more positive, productive life. You can have health, you can have wealth, and you can have exactly what you came here for, which is complete joy and the ability to help others. We didn't just come here to be little islands of solitude. We came here to understand the many facets of being, which are amazing. So I'll leave you with that for today, and yeah, that's all I got. Bye.